Humanity heard the message only once, but the entire galaxy kept shaking because of it. The Galaxy Council had spoken in a cold voice, a voice with no mercy and no emotion. The message spread through every world and every colony in seconds. It said only one line. Humanity has broken the ancient laws. War is declared. Across the stars, the reaction was instant. Entire species panicked. Some locked their borders. Others hid in old shelters. Many leaders whispered in fear because humanity was not like the others. They were strange. They were unpredictable. They fought without fear. They survived without help. No one knew what they were capable of. And no one ever wanted to find out. In the Great Hall of the Kuroth Empire, their emperor stared at the message replaying on the giant screen. His claws tapped nervously on the table. He asked his advisors why humans would risk a war with the council. No one had an answer. One advisor said humans must have discovered a forbidden artifact. Another said humans attacked a council ship. A third said humans were building a weapon. The room filled with fear. The emperor had seen humans fight before. He remembered how they kept standing even when they were wounded. He remembered their strange eyes. Eyes that never gave up. He did not want to face them again. Far away on a cold moon, the Zolari Queen listened to her spies. They reported strange human activity near the outer colonies. They said humans seemed calm, too calm, like they were waiting for something. The Queen felt a deep chill in her heart. She asked her spies what humans said after the war announcement. The spies answered with silence. Because humans said nothing. They only smiled. The council gathered for an emergency meeting. Their leaders were nervous. Their screens showed human ships moving slowly across space. No panic. No rush. No fear. The council expected humanity to beg for peace. Instead, humanity acted like nothing had happened. A Vraxian leader slammed his fist on the table and shouted that humans were mocking them. Another leader said humans must be hiding a secret weapon. A third warned that humans might already be planning a counterattack. The room filled with arguments. Some wanted peace. Some wanted to strike first. But all of them agreed on one thing. That smile was a warning. Finally, the human ambassador's screen activated. The entire galaxy went silent. His face appeared. Calm. Still. No fear. The council thought he would explain, or apologize, or deny everything. But he did none of that. He only smiled. A slow, controlled, almost gentle smile. And then the screen went dark. No message. No threat. No explanation. Nothing. Across hundreds of worlds, people felt a strange fear. A fear that came not from human weapons. But from that smile. It was the smile of someone who knew something the galaxy did not understand. Something dangerous. Something powerful. Something final. Rumors spread faster than light. Some said humans discovered a new kind of energy. Others said humans captured a cosmic beast. Many believed humanity had found a secret that would change the galaxy forever. On a dark station orbiting a red star, an alien spy watched Earth from a hidden ship. Her eyes were wide as she studied human behavior. She expected panic. But humans walked on streets, laughing, talking, living their normal lives. Children played games. Soldiers trained calmly. Engineers worked with focus. There were no sirens, no fear, no emergency commands. Humanity looked ready. Ready for something the galaxy could not see. The spy recorded a human soldier talking to his team. They joked about something simple, not about war. They acted like the galaxy had not threatened them. The spy could not understand it. Why no fear? Why the smile? Why this strange confidence? She sent her report to the council, but the council only grew more confused. Near the council's main fleet, tension rose. The generals demanded to see more data. They believed humanity was preparing a weapon. They thought the smile was a trap. They positioned thousands of ships near Earth's borders. Still, humanity said nothing. Still, they smiled. A strange silence began to spread. Like the quiet before a storm. The council felt the pressure growing. The galaxy watched with wide eyes. Every species held its breath. What were humans planning? Why were they so calm? Why were they smiling at a war declaration? In a secret human base deep under the Atlantic Ocean, lights flickered. Workers moved quickly. Scientists whispered. Huge machines hummed with power. Something giant was being prepared. Something hidden from alien eyes. Only a small number of humans knew the truth. They talked softly, but one phrase kept repeating. Project Dawn. Almost ready. Aliens listening in intercepted the phrase. They panicked immediately. The council believed it was a weapon. A weapon strong enough to threaten the entire galaxy. They did not know what Project Dawn really was, but the name alone created fear. They imagined something deadly, something unstoppable, something that could erase worlds. The galaxy watched humanity with terror. They watched Earth with suspicion. And behind all of it, the spy networks kept sending one message over and over. Humans are not afraid. Humans are waiting. Humans know something. Humans are smiling. The hook grows deeper. The tension grows heavier. And the galaxy begins to understand one truth. Humanity does not smile without a reason. The Galaxy Council could not understand the silence coming from Earth, and that silence was louder than any weapon they had ever known. Every hour the Council received new reports, and each report only increased their fear. The aliens watched human ships move with strange patterns, slow but steady, as if they were following a plan that no one else could see. The Council tried to predict their moves, but nothing made sense. Humans were acting like time was on their side, like they were waiting for a moment only they knew about. In a dark room filled with floating holograms, the Council generals gathered again. Their eyes were tired, their voices sharp. They replayed the recording of the human ambassador's smile again and again, hoping they missed something, a clue, a hint, anything. But it was the same every time. Calm. Confident. Almost kind. It was the kind of smile that made the council feel small, like they were children who did not understand the real danger around them. One general hit the table with his fist and demanded immediate action. He said humanity was mocking them. Another general warned that if humanity truly had a secret weapon, waiting too long would mean their destruction. A third general stayed silent for a long moment before speaking. He said what everyone feared but no one wanted to admit. The humans are not afraid because they know something we do not. Those words spread across the council chamber like a shadow. On the far side of the galaxy, a small Zolari scout team hid behind an asteroid near Earth's outer defense line. They watched how human satellites moved in the sky. Those satellites were old, simple, and weak compared to council technology. But somehow, they worked together with perfect timing, like a giant puzzle. Like they were guiding something. The scouts could not figure out the pattern. Every time they thought they understood it, the pattern changed again. One of the scouts whispered to the others that maybe humans were signaling someone. But who? And why? No one could answer. Down on Earth, deep under the ocean, the secret human base was glowing brighter. The machines around Project Dawn pulsed with energy. Scientists checked screens, made adjustments, and whispered updates. A young engineer looked nervous and asked the head scientist if the galaxy would understand their plan. The head scientist only replied that the galaxy did not need to understand, they only needed to survive. Far above Earth, a council spy ship drifted quietly. Its cloaking device hid it from human radars, or so the spies believed. Inside the ship, 3 alien agents watched Earth's movements. One of them repeated the same question every few minutes. Why are they so calm? Why are they not scared of us? The leader of the spy team stared at Earth for a long time before saying something strange. Maybe humans are not preparing for war with us. Maybe they are preparing for something else. Before the other spies could ask what he meant, their ship lights flickered. Then they died. Every screen on their ship turned black. Every sensor shut down. Every engine went silent. The spies froze, terrified. They tried to restart the systems, but nothing responded. It felt like a giant hand had reached out and crushed their ship's power. Their cloaking failed. Their ship became fully visible to human sensors. The spies panicked and tried to send a warning to the council, but the transmitter stayed dead. For the first time, they realized the truth. Humans knew they were here long before they arrived. On Earth, an operator inside a secret monitoring room smiled slightly. She tapped a button, and her screen displayed a message, "Unauthorized vessel disabled." Awaiting further instruction. She looked at her commander and asked what they should do with the spy ship. The commander stared at the screen for a moment before answering. "Leave them. Let them watch, if they want to." The operator blinked in confusion. Shouldn't they capture the spies? Or destroy them? But the commander only said humans had nothing to hide. The galaxy would understand soon. That single decision confused the council even more when they received the spy report. Humanity had detected their ship. Humanity had disabled it. And humanity let it live. No species did that. Ever. The council felt trapped. Humanity did not act like prey. Humanity did not act like a cornered enemy. Humanity acted like someone standing at a door, guarding something behind it. Something far more dangerous than a galactic war. That night, thousands of alien eyes watched Earth. No one slept. Everyone waited for humanity to reveal the truth. But humanity did not speak. Humanity only watched back, calm, silent, smiling. The council finally understood one thing. The war they declared was not the war humanity was preparing for. The council could no longer sit still. Something was happening on Earth, something they did not understand. Their spy ship confirmed it. Humans not only detected them, they controlled every system inside the ship without causing a single injury. It was not an attack. It was not a threat. It was a message. But no one knew what the message meant. On the council's home world, leaders gathered again in a giant round chamber. The room felt colder than usual. The air was thick with fear and frustration. Every hologram showed Earth from different angles. Human cities glowing at night. Oceans shifting under the moon. Satellites moving in perfect patterns. Everything looked normal. And that normality was terrifying. A Vraxian general shouted that humans were playing a psychological game. A Kuroth advisor insisted humans had created a weapon capable of shutting down systems across light years. A Zolari scientist argued that humans couldn't possibly hide such power, not with their limited resources. But no one believed that last thought. Not anymore. The council head raised a trembling hand and ordered silence. He stared at the projection of Earth. The blue world looked peaceful. Calm. Innocent. But he knew better. His voice was heavy when he finally spoke. If humans have built something like Project Dawn, then we are in great danger. Across the galaxy, fear grew like a shadow. Meanwhile, in a dim metal corridor under the Atlantic, a young human soldier walked toward the command room. He moved with calm steps, but his heart was beating fast. Even though humanity looked unafraid from the outside, every person inside the secret project felt the weight of time pressing down on them. He entered the command chamber. The room buzzed with energy. Huge screens showed data streams, energy levels, shield patterns, and strange cosmic readings. The head scientist stood in front of a massive console. Her face was tired but focused. When the soldier approached, she looked at him. "The council is getting nervous," she said. The soldier replied that the aliens believed Project Dawn was a weapon. The scientist exhaled slowly and said, "I know. And that is the problem." Deep in space, the spy ship that humans disabled was still drifting silently. The aliens inside huddled together, whispering. They had regained partial power, only enough to breathe and send short-range signals. But they were too afraid to signal anything. What if humans shut them down again? One of the spies stared through the viewing window at Earth. He could see tiny flashes on the planet's surface, like energy bursts rising from the oceans. The spy felt a strange pull, a feeling that humanity was not preparing for battle, but preparing for something bigger. Suddenly, a new light appeared on Earth's horizon. A soft, bright glow that began to grow slowly upward, as if something under the planet was rising toward the sky. The spies gasped. The glow turned into a beam of golden-white light, spreading like sunrise across the ocean. The spy leader grabbed his recording device. "This is it," he whispered. "This is their weapon. Project Dawn." But the light didn't look like a weapon. It didn't strike anything. It didn't explode. It simply rose, gentle and quiet, like a protective wall waking from a long sleep. Back at the council chamber, alarms blared. One of the analysts shouted that Earth was releasing massive energy. The generals demanded coordinates. The readings made no sense. The energy wasn't focused toward the council. It wasn't aimed at alien fleets. It wasn't aimed at anything. It was spreading outward. Like a shield. The council head leaned forward. His voice trembled. "Shields do not spread across space. Nothing can create a barrier that wide. Nothing known." A transmission suddenly appeared on every council screen. A human voice, calm and steady, spoke two simple words. "Stand by." And then the transmission ended. The council erupted into panic. Some thought it was a countdown. Others believed it was a threat. But the truth sat heavy in the air. Humanity wasn't preparing to attack them. Humanity wasn't preparing to defend against them. Humanity was preparing for something else entirely. And whatever it was. The galaxy was not ready. Earth's glow grew brighter, and the first wave of energy began to ripple across space. Across hundreds of worlds, people froze where they stood. The light was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It moved like a soft wave through the darkness, touching everything in its path, passing silently over ships, planets, and stations. But it didn't damage anything. It only scanned. It scanned every star system like it was searching for something. Back in the council chamber, a young analyst's voice cracked as he shouted the results. "The wave, it's looking for large-scale cosmic signatures." The council head whispered, "For what?" The analyst stared at the readings, pale and shaking. "Something is coming," he said. "Something huge." The council fell silent. The entire galaxy held its breath. If humanity built Project Dawn as a shield, then what was it meant to protect them from? The wave of golden energy kept moving through the void, slow and silent, like a giant heartbeat spreading from Earth. In every corner of the galaxy, alarms began to ring. Ships paused mid-flight. Stations froze their operations. Entire planets watched the approaching light with wide, fearful eyes. But the light did not harm anything. It simply touched, scanned, and moved on. Inside the council chamber, panic turned into confusion. Scientists shouted that the wave measured gravitational distortions. Others said it scanned for dark matter clusters. But none of them knew why. The council head felt cold dread rising inside him. He looked at the glowing line on the holomap that showed Earth's energy wave pushing across space. Why would humans scan for something so large? Why would they need a shield around the galaxy? The council head swallowed hard. Unless, something is coming. Back near Earth, the spy ship drifted quietly as its crew watched the light rise from the planet like a second sunrise. For the first time since the war declaration, none of them spoke. The glow reflected in their eyes. It was too calm. Too gentle. Too vast to be a weapon meant for war against the council. The youngest spy whispered, "What if this is not about us?" In the Atlantic base, the head scientist checked the energy readings. Her hands were shaking, but her voice stayed calm as she issued new orders. Increase charge on Layer 3. Prepare planetary emitters. Keep frequency stable. The workers moved fast. Screens flickered with warnings. Lights pulsed. Pressure rose. One soldier asked her, "Will the council understand?" The scientist stared at the main display showing the wave expanding across the stars. "They don't need to understand," she said softly. "They just need to stay out of our way." In orbit above Mars, a group of human ships formed a silent guard line. They were not pointed at the council fleets. They were aimed outward, toward the darkness beyond the solar system. Their weapons were ready, but not for the enemy the galaxy expected. Out past Pluto, past the Oort cloud, past any known border, the energy wave spread into deep space. And there, something responded. The sensors at Project Dawn detected it first. A tremor. Small at first. Then another. Then dozens more. In the council chamber, a young technician gasped as strange readings flashed across his screen. Movement detected. Coordinates unknown. Origin is, outside the mapped galaxy. Whispers filled the chamber. Outside. Nothing lives outside. Nothing travels that far. Nothing survives the void beyond the spirals. But the reading said otherwise. The technician's eyes widened. Something is approaching. Fast. Across the galaxy, fear and confusion grew. If humans knew about this thing, whatever it was, how long had they been preparing? How long had they been building Project Dawn? And why did they smile when the council declared war? Because the council wasn't the problem. Something else was. Back in the spy ship, the leader pressed his face close to the window, staring into the distant darkness. The stars there seemed to shift, like something massive was moving behind them. His hands trembled. He whispered, "They didn't build a weapon. They built a warning system." The youngest spy swallowed hard. A warning for what? The leader could not answer. In the Atlantic base, alarms suddenly blared. A deep, powerful tone echoed through the halls. The scientist turned toward the screen as new signals appeared. Huge gravitational distortions. Multiple points of origin. Converging. Her face turned pale. "It's closer than we thought." She contacted the human high command. Her voice was steady, but her hands shook. Dawn Phase 2 must begin now. On Earth's surface, giant towers hidden beneath oceans and forests rose upward. Panels opened, glowing with golden light. For normal citizens, the sky turned bright, like daylight was arriving early. For the council watching from space, Earth looked like it was waking up. From every continent, beams shot upward, connecting into a massive network around the planet. Then, like electricity running through veins, the energy shot outward again, this time faster, stronger, and directed toward deep space. On the council's homeworld, the council head whispered, "This is no shield. This is a barrier." The Zolari queen grabbed the edge of her throne. A barrier, for what? Suddenly, a massive tremor hit the sensor network. Every screen across the galaxy flickered. A gigantic shadow appeared in deep space. Not a ship. Not a planet. Not anything alive that any species had ever documented. It was moving like a storm. Slow. Massive. Relentless. Devouring the space around it. The golden wave hit the creature and spread over its surface, revealing its shape. A shape with hundreds of limbs, glowing eyes like dying suns, and a body larger than moons. The entire galaxy froze as the thing roared silently, bending space around it. Humanity had known. Humanity had been preparing. The council finally understood the human smile. They were not smiling at war. They were smiling because they knew the galaxy needed them. They were smiling because they were ready. And the creature kept coming. The creature moved through the darkness like a collapsing star, bending everything around it. Even though it was still far from the galaxy, its presence hit sensors across hundreds of systems. Space rippled. Light bent. Gravity twisted in unnatural ways. Entire stations felt the pull, even from impossible distances. In the council chamber, silence crushed the room. The hologram of the creature flickered across every wall. It was bigger than anything they had ever seen. Too big to fight. Too big to outrun. It did not come in peace. It came to feed. A Vraxian general whispered, "Is this real?" A scientist answered in a trembling voice, "This creature, it eats star systems." The council head looked at the long, twisting limbs of the cosmic monster. He finally understood the one thing he had refused to accept. Humanity was not preparing to fight the council. Humanity was preparing to save the galaxy. Deep under the Atlantic, the alarms grew louder. The head scientist issued command after command, her voice steady even though her heart was racing. Dawn Phase 2 complete. Preparing Phase 3. All planetary shields stand by. A soldier approached her with sweat on his forehead. Will Project Dawn hold? She looked him straight in the eyes. It has to. There is no other choice. Above Earth, Dawn's energy beams shifted colors, turning from gold to a bright white blue. Lines of energy formed a massive grid above the planet, extending toward Mars, then Jupiter, and beyond. The entire solar system was turning into a fortress. Ships from the Council watched in confusion. They could not believe what they saw. Human technology should not be capable of this. Their ships should not be able to hold that much energy. Their planet should not be able to produce this level of power. But humanity was doing it. Calmly. Silently. Without fear. On the spy ship, the youngest alien stared at the approaching monster. His hands shook so badly he could barely hold his recorder. He whispered, "They knew. They knew all along." The leader of the spy team nodded slowly. Humans were building a shield, not for war, but for survival. Not just their own survival, but everyone's. The creature moved closer, tearing through dark space like a storm made of nightmares. The golden wave from Earth reached it again. This time, the wave scanned deeper, revealing cracks, pulsing organs, and glowing clusters inside its body. The council saw the results. Their scientists turned pale. One whispered, "It's not one creature." Another added, "It's a swarm inside a single form." A collective shiver ran across everyone watching. Back on Earth, the scientist tapped commands on the console. A hologram expanded, showing the solar system and the creature's projected path. She said softly, "This is why we built Dawn. This thing will cross into the galaxy in 40 minutes. Her assistant gasped. 40 minutes? How can we fight that? The scientist did not answer. She couldn't. Above Jupiter, dozens of human warships aligned into formation, their engines glowing bright blue. They were small compared to the cosmic creature, like sparks lined up against a tsunami. But every ship moved with precision, without fear, without hesitation. The Council finally opened a channel to humanity. Every leader, every general, every advisor stared at the screen, waiting for a human face to appear. When the human ambassador showed up, he looked exactly the same as before. Calm. Focused. Ready. The council head spoke quickly, desperate. Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you warn us about this thing? The ambassador's voice was steady. We did try. But no one listened. You were too busy preparing for a war that never mattered. The words hit the council like a blow. The ambassador continued. But now, we do not have time for arguments. If you want to survive. He leaned forward. Stand down and let us work. No threats. No anger. Just firm confidence. For the first time in history, the council obeyed instantly. Human ships ignited their engines. Energy lines shot across the solar system. Dawn Phase 3 activated. The barrier around the system turned into a bright web of glowing blue-white light. It stretched outward, forming a massive dome around every human outpost and colony. The creature roared in the vacuum of space. It heard the energy. It sensed the shield. And it rushed forward faster. On every screen in the galaxy, the monster grew larger, its limbs spreading like shadows across the stars. The moment it touched Dawn's outer wave, the entire galaxy felt the shock. The wave flashed. Light exploded across the void. Space trembled. And humanity stood firm. They did not break. They did not run. They did not scream. They only prepared the next command. The scientist in the Atlantic base spoke quietly into her microphone. Engage Phase 4. Full output. No holding back. Her voice did not shake. Humanity never shakes. Outside the solar system, dawn began to glow brighter. The barrier thickened. Energy hummed. The stars reflected off the shield like light on water. The creature slammed into the barrier again. And again. And again. Each hit sent ripples of color across the sky. But dawn did not fall. Not yet. The council watched in awe. They had never seen humans fight like this. Not with fury. Not with rage. With purpose. As the creature pulled back for a stronger strike, the ambassador whispered the words that echoed across every screen. We're not smiling because we want war. We're smiling because we're ready.